Can your diet help prevent Alzheimer's? Or are we just eating kale for no reason? Let's be real. Nobody wakes up and thinks, you know what sounds delicious? A bowl of raw broccoli with a side of fish oil. But here we are, bombarded with article after article telling us that our brains will turn into pudding if we don't start worshipping at the altar of omega-3s and leafy greens. The question is, does what we eat actually help prevent Alzheimer's, or are we just engaging in a massive, kale-fueled placebo effect? Well, grab your turmeric latte and let's dive into the science, minus the boring parts. The scary stats, because fear sells. Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia, affecting millions of people worldwide. It's a cruel, sneaky thief that robs people of their memories, personalities, and independence. If that doesn't make you want to down a salad, I don't know what will. Currently, there's no cure. I know, Big Pharma is working on it, right after they finish making EpiPens cost less than a used car. But the good news? There's growing evidence that diet plays a role in either protecting or absolutely wrecking our brains. So, let's talk food. More specifically, let's talk about whether what we eat can actually stop our brains from turning into a malfunctioning Etch-a-Sketch. The Mediterranean diet, the Beyoncé of brain food. You've probably heard of the Mediterranean diet. It's been shoved down our throats as the gold standard for everything from heart health to weight loss to glowing skin. But does it actually help protect against Alzheimer's? Short answer, yes, but don't expect to turn into a centenarian genius overnight. The Mediterranean diet is rich in fruits and vegetables, because apparently vitamin C and fiber are important. Who knew? Whole grains, not the bleached nonsense in your sandwich bread. Nuts and seeds, great if you enjoy chewing like a squirrel. Fish, hello, omega-3s. Olive oil, basically liquid gold. Red wine, thank God, there's still joy in the world. What's the science behind it? Studies suggest that people who follow this diet have a lower risk of developing cognitive decline. The antioxidants, healthy fats, and anti-inflammatory properties of these foods seem to help prevent brain fog and memory loss. And let's be honest, this is a lot more appealing than a boiled chicken and sadness diet. The Mind Diet, a mashup that actually works. For those who like their diets with a side of acronyms, meet the Mind Diet, Mediterranean-diet intervention for neurodegenerative delay, because why not make it sound complicated? This eating plan is a hybrid of the Mediterranean and DASH, dietary approaches to stop hypertension, diets. Basically, it's the brain-boosting cousin of the heart-healthy DASH diet, and researchers have found that it can significantly reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. Here's what the Mind Diet emphasizes. Leafy greens, like kale and spinach, which taste slightly better when drowned in dressing. Berries, especially blueberries, because they contain brain-loving flavonoids. Nuts, again, prepare for a lot of chewing. Whole grains, yay, fiber. Fish, preferably not deep-fried and served with tartar sauce. Poultry, chicken is acceptable, but don't get crazy with the fried stuff. Olive oil, just go ahead and drizzle it on everything. What's off the menu? Red meat, butter, cheese, pastries, and fried foods. I know, I cried a little too. But hey, if sacrificing a few cheeseburgers means keeping your marbles intact, it might be worth it. The anti-Alzheimer's superfoods, or stuff you'll pretend to enjoy. If you don't want to commit to an entire diet overhaul, here are some powerhouse foods that might help keep your brain from short-circuiting. Fatty fish, salmon, sardines, and mackerel are basically brain fuel. Berries, delicious, nutritious, and they won't make you feel like you're chewing on tree bark. Leafy greens, if Popeye were a scientist, he'd be screaming, "I told you so." Nuts, just a handful, because too many and you'll start questioning your life choices. Turmeric, because nothing says healthy like staining your countertops yellow. Dark chocolate, yes. Science finally gives us something enjoyable. Coffee and green tea, caffeine, the only reason most of us function. The sugar and junk food problem, aka how to age your brain in fast forward. Now, let's talk about what not to eat. If you've ever devoured a donut and felt like you needed a nap immediately after, there's a reason for that. High sugar intake, processed foods, and trans fats are basically a wrecking ball for your brain. They contribute to insulin resistance, inflammation, and oxidative stress, all of which are major players in Alzheimer's. The standard American diet, SAD, appropriately named, is packed with these offenders, and research suggests that diets high in processed junk could accelerate cognitive decline. So, next time you reach for a bag of neon orange cheese puffs, just know that your neurons are screaming in protest. But will diet really save your brain? Look, I'd love to tell you that eating salmon twice a week and chugging green tea will guarantee you a sharp mind until the age of 110, but the reality is more complicated. Genetics, lifestyle, exercise, and overall health play massive roles in Alzheimer's risk. That being said, eating like a Mediterranean grandparent certainly won't hurt. If nothing else, you'll probably feel better, have more energy, and maybe even extend your lifespan by a few quality years. And if that means swapping out some burgers for grilled fish, well, that's a trade-off worth considering. Final thoughts, a little bit of balance, and a little bit of wine. At the end of the day, the best diet for preventing Alzheimer's is one that emphasizes whole foods, limits processed junk, and includes some key brain-boosting superfoods. But let's be honest, nobody's going to live their entire life without indulging in some fries or a slice of cake. So, eat the blueberries, enjoy the salmon, swap out some of the junk, and maybe pour yourself a glass of red wine, for the antioxidants, of course. Your brain will thank you, eventually. And if nothing else, at least you'll look really smug the next time someone asks about your diet.